Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OT Podcast. My name is Thomas Bailey, alongside Owen Reed, of course, as we are live from Buffalo State University. Yet again, as per usual. Week 6 of the NFL season is upon us. We are a quarter of the way through the NFL season, if you include the playoffs, so buckle in, guys. We are officially in the nitty-gritty of the NFL season this year, 2025-26 season. A lot of things have happened over the course of this last week. Obviously, no undefeated teams are left in the NFL. As Bills fans, we know that all too well, as we were that team for a few short hours, and now there is nobody in the NFL that has not lost at least once. Some quick notes to go over before we get into any of these games. Odafe Oweh was traded today alongside a 7th-round pick for Alohi Gilman, a safety for the Chargers, and a 5th-round pick. Very interesting trade there for both of those teams. I think the Chargers do come out a little bit ahead, considering it is kind of a questionable move, at least in my opinion, for the Ravens. You have Kyle Hamilton, and you just took a 1st-round pick on Malachi Starks, a safety. Why are you trading Oweh for a backup safety in Alohi Gilman, as I don't think he would start over either Hamilton, obviously, or, of course, him. Maybe Hamilton's injury is a little worse than we expected. That's what I'm starting to believe
that's
here,
why they
and
went
that
after,
makes it worse for Baltimore.
It's definitely why they went after C.J. Gardner-Johnson, was for that injury.
Yeah, him as well. So interesting to see what happens in Baltimore. Another quick note is obviously Joe Flacco was traded earlier today as well. Interdivision trade. The 3rd time it's ever happened. Donovan McNabb being traded to Washington in 2010, and then back in 2001, our Buffalo Bills were trading for Drew Bledsoe as the New England Patriots shipped him to us. Those are the only 3 trades that have ever been interdivision quarterback trades, and of course it's Joe Flacco, as interestingly enough for that. Moving into the last 2 bits of notes, both in the AFC South, Treylon Burks was waived this morning. No longer a Tennessee Titan, officially putting an end to the A.J. Brown saga with that whole trade, as it was a 1-for-1 swap. Clearly didn't work out for Tennessee. And the Colts, in the midst of Spencer Schrader being out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, have signed Michael Badgley, a former Colts kicker, back onto the main roster to replace him for the remainder of this season. With that shot keeping out of the way, we're getting through the cobwebs here. Overall records for the team so far this season. I sit atop the leaderboard with a 54-23-1 record as we move into the next person, which is Brian at a 49-28-1 record, followed by the AI at 46-31. And then Owen last with 45 wins and 32 losses so far this season. Definitely. 1 game back of AI, because AI played like crap last week, only going 4-10. Owen, you weren't too much better at 6-8, and me and Brian both finished with an 8-6 record. So, proverbial handshake to you, Brian. Thank you so much for joining. As no Lombardi, I didn't remember to grab it this time, so it's fine. But I would win this Lombardi trophy again because Brian's not here. It's fine. Doesn't matter too much. Moving into the actual games now without the shopkeeping. Giants-Eagles Thursday Night Football, another division rivalry matchup on Thursday night. We saw one last week with the 49ers and Rams and a stunning revelation for San Francisco. Do the Giants pull off a similar upset here in the first game of the week? Or do the Eagles get back to their roots with the winning ways after suffering their first loss since Week 16 of 2025?
You know, I figured I'd get this out of the way early this week. I got my lock of the week.
Wow.
On Thursday Night Football. Give me the Eagles over the Giants. Eagles, obviously, I feel like the offense is starting to look like a little bit more of a glaring issue as the weeks are going along here, as they fell to the Denver Broncos last week. But Eagles, I feel like, are one of those teams where they have lost multiple games in a row in the past, but you're playing against a divisional opponent that hasn't been too great overall this season, and they just lost against the Saints last week after starting up being 14-0 on them and kind of like collapsing a little bit there in that second half. I really do feel like this is one of those games where I feel like the Eagles can kind of like take advantage, kind of get back on track a little bit. It is a really tough Giants defense, though, so Eagles offense may still probably have some issues like they've had pretty much all season long now. But I feel like this is a good game here for him to kind of get back on track here.
Yeah, I agree 110%. Philadelphia is going to win my not lock of the week. Just kidding. I have the Eagles winning, though, 24-13. This is going to be a bloodbath for these two teams. It's a division rivalry game. I expect it to be kind of chippy in this one, but go ahead and give me Philadelphia the whole way. I think the Eagles are clearly the better football team in this game, and after losing last week, especially the way they did, having a multi-possession lead as well, losing that game, we had an NFL record last week. And that was 14-point leads or more. Last week, the teams went a combined 0-6 in those games. Miami against Carolina was one of those games. Tennessee beating Arizona was one of those games. The Jags on Monday night did that as well against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Giants and Saints game that we just mentioned. And then the Eagles and Denver Broncos game is 5. And then the other one is escaping me right now. But I'm sure I'll remember it in a little while.
Chiefs?
Chiefs, Jags. I mentioned the Chiefs, Jags. I think the other one...
Well, so there's 6. All right, we got to figure this out real quick. We got to do this.
There was another one. I think it was the Bucs. I think the Bucs went down 21-7. Right before the half, I think they were down 21-7.
They might have. They might have been at some.
I'm not sure what the game is offhand, but either way, a very upsetting revelation for some of these teams. Shocking to say the least, as that is an insane stat to pull out. And a shout out to Joe Buck on Monday night for shouting that one out. It was 0-5 before the final score of that game, and obviously now 0-6. Either way, though, this is not my lock of the week, but this is damn near close. This is a very easy one for me to predict. I don't think the Eagles lose, especially on a short week. They're not going to have that much preparation, sure, but at the same time, you're coming off a loss. You're going to be very annoyed and very upset with all the noise around the league saying they can't pass the ball. I expect them to swing it all over the yard in this one. Give me Philadelphia 24-13. As I will mention once and once only, Owen's scores will be down below at the end of this video. Whenever on the end card, he will have his scores for all the games this week at the end. So make sure you guys tune into that video once that goes live. We are moving into the NFL Sunday slate, another international game, and surprisingly not the Vikings this time. It is the Jets and Broncos instead.
Yeah, so much better.
Yeah, either way, Denver is the designated away team. The Jets, the designated home team for this game. Did Justin Fields and the winless Jets end the streak of winless teams in the league, or did they remain winless through 6 weeks?
Really quickly, did Brian and the AI both pick Philly to win?
They both did. Also, I'm sorry about that. A clean sweep for Thursday Night Football.
All right, I just wanted to write that down. All right, Broncos, Jets. I am picking the Denver Broncos to win this football game.
And my second lock of the week.
Yeah, every game's a lock of the week for me. But we just mentioned the Broncos-Eagles game last week. Their defense, I feel like, put up one of their best performances of the year.
For sure.
Last week. And the offense still wasn't great, but they did enough to win the game, and it was a really big one, too. So definitely Broncos took a big step there last week. And then as for the Jets, continuing to lose football games, losing last week to the Cowboys, who dismantled their defense really last week. And that was when Cowboys are missing multiple offensive linemen. CeeDee Lamb is still out, and Cowboys were still able to be pretty efficient on offense against the Jets defense there. So very concerned about the Jets right now. Obviously, as a Bills fan, kind of happy about it. But
I feel for him a little bit.
Yeah.
As a Sabres fan.
Yeah, the Jets really haven't been showing much. They're the only winless team left in the NFL, so I feel like not many people are going to be picking them to win until they do win a football game. So Jets going to have to go out there and prove it right now, but I don't think it's going to be in London.
I think this is eerily similar to that game a couple years ago against Houston when they ended up pulling out a victory. Houston's offensive line got ravaged by injuries the week prior to that, and obviously it's the same here as Ben Powers is out for at least 4 weeks hitting the IR. On top of that, Mike McGlinchey's been out for a foreseeable amount of time, so that's going to be a very interesting revelation here for the Broncos offensive line, especially against a guy like Quinnen Williams, who is one of the best D tackles in the NFL. However, I cannot pick the New York Jets to win a football game as of right now, especially against the team that just took down Philadelphia, who in my opinion was the best team in football, maybe even still is. I understand they lost, but they really did not play well for like 95% of that game, and they still only lost by a point, and it was because of some kind of ticky-tacky no calls there too, especially at the end of that one throw to Dallas Goedert where the defensive back was just grabbing his shoulder pad. He couldn't get back to the football. Yeah. It's one of those points right there. It's like ticky-tacky. It's like a hand fight. It's 50-50. They're both hand fighting. You really can't throw that flag. But I do think that at the end of the day, that kind of cost them a football game, and it sucks a little bit. You only lose by a few points. I said 1 point earlier. Sorry about that. I know they did lose by, I think it was 4. 21-17 or something like that, along those lines. I know they definitely needed a touchdown, though. They didn't need the field goal, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. I don't remember the exact.
I know they couldn't get the field goal though for sure. But either way though, I do also have Denver winning this football game. I just think the Jets don't have what it takes to win this game, especially defensively right now. Their defense is getting absolutely massacred, and with Bo Nix, who started to kind of figure it out in that fourth quarter against a tough Philly defense, I expect them to play pretty well in this football game, even with the offensive line not playing up to full expectations or full strength, if you will. So go ahead and give me the Denver Broncos to win this football game 27-17 across the pond as we come back from the pond to come back here to a Seahawks-Jaguars 1 o'clock window. -1 point differential. This is the closest it gets in this Week 6 slate. Do you have the Seahawks pulling off the narrow upset, or do the Jags keep rolling through 2025?
Definitely a very tough game to predict. Last week, the Seahawks were very close to winning that football game.
Also, Denver is the unanimous pick for that London game. I'm so sorry I keep doing that. I won't forget this time.
I didn't want to bring it up twice.
Yeah, right. So what is that again?
But yeah, the Seahawks were very close to winning that football game. They very easily could have last week, but the interception at the end kind of is what did them in there. And then for the Jacksonville Jaguars, a statement win, if you will, against the Kansas City Chiefs. That I still can't get over that last touchdown from last night.
He just fell, and he fell twice more. Like he went to stand up and
fell.
Yeah,
he slipped again, and he was just sitting there for a second. And
he's just Chris Jones. Did you see the thing with Chris Jones? He just didn't even run for him. Yeah, he's just standing there. He was just like, man, chilling. He scored. Yeah, he
like, wow, I had such a great view of that play.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But Jaguars defense, I feel like, is continuing to, really showcase themselves, especially Devin Lloyd. I feel like he's making an early case for Defensive Player of the Year right now.
Yeah.
Been playing out of his mind. And both these teams, I feel like, are very similar right now. Both teams kind of pretty similar spots. Seahawks 3-2. Obviously, Jaguars have one extra win. But in a game like this, I feel like I have to lean towards the home team in this one. So give me the Jacksonville Jaguars to take this one over the Seattle Seahawks. And it's kind of like looking at how both of these teams played at the end of the games with the quarterback plays. I'm sure, like, Lawrence didn't play perfect, but he played well enough to help him get the win. And then you look at Darnold, he had a great game. He had 4 touchdowns.
That pick right at the end.
At the end of the game, when it mattered the most, they ended up making the mistake. So I feel like you could maybe see a repeat of that this week. We will see. But give me the Jaguars to advance to 5-1 to start their season.
Yeah, Jacksonville's really kind of lit a fire, and I kind of called this. I had them as a wild card team this year in my playoff bracket, so I do think that Jacksonville has what it takes, but not in this game. This is my upset of the week. Seattle, I know, I've hated on you. I've hated on the Seahawks for so many years now at this point.
Never thought I'd see the day.
But I picked Seattle to win this football game. I think this is going to be one of those games that's just really, really close. But it's one of those things for me. And honestly, I can't even throw these super crazy statistics at you guys. I can't tell you that this team's going to win because Darnold's like second best quarterback in the league or something, and like whatever stat you may throw. I can't even say it's anything about that. It's just my gut's telling me that the Jacksonville Jaguars cannot be 5-1. My gut is telling me that. I'm sorry, Jags fan. I don't trust it. I really don't. I think this would be the perfect Jacksonville Jaguars moment to win a game like that against Kansas City and then come out and just lay an absolute dud at home against the Seahawks. And I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I think it's going to be very close, down to the wire, back and forth the whole way through. But go ahead and give me the Seahawks. I think that defense especially is going to have a really monster game. They just gave up 38 points to Baker Mayfield. They were the reason they lost. I understand Darnold threw that pick at the end, but 38 points against. You couldn't stop them like at all in the second half. you got to get stops in the NFL, and I understand it from a perspective of just the offensive side. Darnold threw that pick that cost him the field goal at the end, but 35 points before that, you can't really just blame Sam Darnold. I think this game they have a bounce-back game, especially considering if you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, they really don't have a receiver that has had that kind of moment like an Emeka Egbuka has had. Brian Thomas is okay, and Travis Hunter did have a breakout game, but that's his only game he's actually been solid, and that's against a pretty weak Chiefs secondary, if we all things considered. Chamari Connor and Jalen Watson aren't exactly the two best corners in the league, and he wasn't working on McDuffie. McDuffie was working on Brian Thomas for most of the night, so unfortunately I can't really do that one for the justice side for Travis Hunter. Either way, all I'm getting at is I think this is going to be a very good game. It's going to be back and forth, but go ahead and give me the Jacksonville Jaguars to lose this game to the Seahawks. Who would have thought I would see this one coming? Unfortunately, Brian, we were on the same wavelength. Upset of the week for Brian as well is going to... Not his upset of the week, sorry.
Oh, not his upset of the week.
Okay. It's just a Brian win as well for the Seahawks. We split, though, because the AI goes with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Uh-oh.
Interesting moment there for the AI.
I always end up siding with the AI.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't like it.
I don't know what it is, but you guys are 3 for 3, and maybe 4 for 4, as this next game is the LA Chargers and the Miami Dolphins. Brian, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for you. But anyway... The Chargers have now lost back-to-back games to NFC East teams. First, the Giants in Jackson Dart's first career start, and now Jaden Daniels in a blowout loss that really the offense couldn't seem to get going at all in that second half. Do you think the Chargers are going to lose a third straight game and fall to 500 at 3-3, or do the Chargers bounce back with a win against the hapless Miami Dolphins on the road at Hard Rock Stadium?
You know, the Chargers are definitely one of those teams. I was talking to you about this earlier. Teams that start off really impressive and then kind of just fade out a little bit.
And they did.
It's kind of what the Chargers are looking like right now. Laying an absolute dud against the Commanders last week. And then the Miami Dolphins against the Carolina Panthers last week. It was a close game.
Announcer, bro.
It was a close game. They had them in the first half up 17-0, and then they ended up falling and losing.
I feel like I jinxed that just by picking the Panthers to win that game. I really jinxed that.
I was very surprised ending up seeing the Panthers win. I'm sure if anyone listens to this regularly, they all know how much I hate the Panthers.
I also want to throw out this crazy stat I saw yesterday. The Panthers and Titans hadn't won in the same week since week 2 of the 2023-24 season.
Wow.
They hadn't won in the same week, the Titans and the Panthers, until last week when the Titans and Panthers both upset Miami and Arizona in comeback fashion. Absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, and then for this game, I'm going to lean towards the Chargers in this one. Chargers, again, very uninspiring football right now. I'm leaning to the idea that they're going to turn things around in this game, especially against a Dolphins team that does not have a great secondary.
Right.
Overall, it's not very good. Sorry, Brian. That's what happens when you end up losing to the Panthers. I mean, it looks even worse.
Yeah.
But, yeah, give me the Chargers to win this game. I can see Miami coming out and looking good, maybe winning the game just with how LA has been playing the past few weeks. But I'm going to go with the safe pick and go with the Chargers.
Yeah, me too, as this is going to be a pretty dog crap game to me. No offense, Brian. I just think that the only way to really beat this Chargers team, if you look at it last week, was that secondary. You got to be able to throw the ball quick, work off play action. Miami is a good play action team, but they just don't have that receiving help really. Yeah, sure, you do have Jalen Waddle, but after Jalen Waddle, there's absolutely nothing on that team. And I thought last year at the draft, I thought it was so funny that everybody was saying, take a receiver, take a receiver. Why do you need a receiver? You don't need one. You got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and now I'm starting to realize why everybody was saying that. Because realistically, they were one bad injury. Whoops, here we are, from seeing it happen, and now here it is. We're at the present moment. They only have Jalen Waddle in that offense, and I guess who's next? Like Braxton Berrios? I don't even know who they got. I think it's like somebody with the last name Washington, because apparently that's just so
Parker
common
Washington?
now. Parker Washington's the Jags guy.
Well, shit.
Yeah, so it's something other Washington. I don't know, but anyway, I do have the Chargers winning this football game and getting back to their winning ways. This is just one of those games I expect them to fully win this game. I can't see a Chargers team lose to a team like the Dolphins, who just can't really seem to win these games when they can't establish a run game. I don't expect them to be able to establish a run game fully in this one, so go ahead and give me the Chargers in a pretty big win, 28-14, maybe even a garbage time touchdown for Miami in this game. I don't think the Chargers are going to lose this football game. I think they finally get back to a victory, and they are going to improve to 4-2 on the young season, or should I say decently young season at this point. It's not too young now, as the AI is going to go with the LA Chargers, and Brian is going with the Chargers in his lock of the week. We know what you're trying to do, Brian.
You scumbag.
It's not going to work.
Not going to work, Brian.
It's not going to work. Don't do this to my boy Justin Herbert and Madison Beer. Don't do this. Anyway, moving on. Another LA game. This one also on the road for the LA team. That is the Rams going into Baltimore this week. Had these two teams been healthy, this could be easily the game of the week.
Yeah.
But obviously, we know the circumstances. Lamar might not even play in this game, and even if he does, it might not be a very good watch for anybody. Do you think that the Ravens are going to somehow pull this out, or will Baltimore fall to 1-5 in the year 2025?
You know, I thought about this game for a second because the Rams are on a 2-game losing streak right now, and going up against Baltimore, you know, like they could be good, but after watching their performance last week against Houston, give me the LA Rams to win this game. This one kind of feels like one of like those get-right games almost, but I feel like the Ravens could make it interesting a little bit in the first half because I feel like the Rams kind of have been slumping a little bit.
Especially last week on Thursday night. But then
again, I don't know what it is. We'll get to the Niners later, but the Niners are just, I don't know how, they're just, no matter I feel like who they're playing, they're just making the team they're playing against going into the kind of their style of football and how they want to do things. And they've been grinding out these wins like week after week. It's been pretty impressive. But for this game, I think the Rams should win this game. They have a healthy team, unlike Baltimore. And I feel like there's not really much going with Baltimore right now. There's no real like hype, no real energy coming out. It's just kind of flatlining until Lamar gets back, and if that's going to be this week, we'll see. It's looking like probably not again this week. You'll probably be back after their bye week, so we'll see what happens with that. But Rams should win this game, and I think they will.
Nice. Well, I also have the Rams winning this game, and sure, the Rams did lose last week. They're not on a 2-game losing streak, though, because they beat the Colts the week prior to that. You're thinking because the Eagles game the week before that they had the blocked field goal and lost. The only 2 losses for the Rams this season are on a pretty crappy way to lose on a blocked field goal that easily they could have just won that game. Or the game last weekend, which, again, Thursday Night Football, short week, against the 49ers, who statistically over Sean McVay's career have his number. I think that's a game that, honestly, that's one that you expect to lose. You expect to lose at least one game to a division rival at some point. And if there's anybody in this division I see them losing to once or even twice, it would be the 49ers. I just think it's one of those situations for the Rams where they're going to get right. They had a lot more time to prepare for this game, too. A little mini-bye, as we call it. On top of that, the absolute injury-raveled Ravens, say that 3 times fast, injury-raveled Ravens are really not going to stand a chance in this game, even if Lamar Jackson plays. I really think that they're going to get absolutely blown up in this football game. I just don't think it really matters at the end of the day which one of these 2 starting quarterbacks it's going to be, if it's Cooper Rush or if it's Lamar Jackson. You're not going to have time to throw against Jared Verse and everybody on that defensive line because I think they're right now, they're 4th in the league in sacks, the Rams defensive line. They're up there, and going up against this this Rams, oh my Lord, this Ravens offensive line, I just don't think they have a chance. 31-10, give me the Rams to put it to them in Baltimore. Honestly, though, I do feel really bad for Baltimore. Just kidding, fuck you. Anyway, moving on.
Jesus Christ.
We have the Colts and the Cardinals next.
Brian and the AI.
Sorry. Brian goes with the Rams.
Okay.
The AI goes with Baltimore.
Of course.
I think the AI didn't get the memo that Lamar's out.
They didn't get the injury report from last week either.
They didn't get the injury report at all this season. They just said, "Oh, when they're healthy, yeah, let's go."
Like, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, absolutely.
Yeah, apparently. As now moving on, the Colts and Cardinals game, this one in Lucas Oil Stadium. Colts did suffer their first loss of the season a couple weeks ago. Bounced back pretty nicely with a game against the Raiders this week. Do you think that they improved to 5-1, just like you have the Jaguars improving? Or do the Cardinals pull off a pretty sizable upset win here?
All right, here we go. This is going to be my upset of the week. No, just kidding. Yeah. Give me the Indianapolis Colts to win this football game. After the Cardinals absolute collapse to a Titans team that had absolutely nothing going for them going into this game, it was bad. I mean, you got your upset of the week, so congrats on that.
I'm 3-5, 3 for 5 with my upsets of the week.
I talked about Trevor Lawrence's touchdown earlier. The one that happened in the game last week between the Titans and the Cardinals. That's going to
be like the all-time.
Absolutely ridiculous. And that was was that Tyler Lockett's first touchdown with the team?
It is. Funny enough, the last time that ever happened was also with the Tennessee Titans. Treylon Burks caught a deep touchdown. Well, he caught like a pass or whatever across the middle of the field. And as he was running, he dropped the ball. It was picked up by a defensive back. And after the defensive back dropped it, Treylon Burks picked it up in the end zone for a touchdown. So this is actually the second time this has happened to the Titans. That also, fun fact, was Treylon Burks' first touchdown in the NFL. First ever career touchdown, at least receiving touchdown. I don't know if it's like just rushing as well, but that was his first touchdown with the Titans, and that might be why he was waived today.
Colts absolutely put belt to ass against the Raiders last week. I feel like there's no reason why anyone should be picking the Cardinals unless they were like doing a crazy upset, like, oh, look at the money value here or something, you know, gambling. But
yeah, gambling.
But the Colts should win this game, and my game earlier, the Eagles-Giants, if that wasn't my lock of the week, this one certainly would have been. So wow. Give me the Colts to win this one.
Disrespectful to the Cardinals, but I'm all for it after last week. Holy crap, Arizona. I don't even know what to say. I jinxed the shit out of you. I will admit that. I'm sorry. But at the same time, y'all did it to yourselves. So many errors, so many mistakes. All that had to happen was just one of your guys doesn't drop the ball half a yard away from the end zone, or you don't intercept a pass and then drop it and then give a touchdown the other way.
Yeah.
If even one of those things doesn't happen, you win the game. But both happen and you lose. That's pretty shitty luck. I don't think your luck gets much better considering you're going against the Horseshoes, which is known for luck, and that's the Colts. And it's Andrew Luck's old team, funny enough. Anyway, moving into actually things that matter, the Colts winning this football game against the Cardinals 24-14. I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than people are giving it credit for. I think this one's going to be back and forth. It's going to be close for 3 quarters. I think the Colts pull away in the 4th, and here's why. Jonathan Gannon was absolutely fucking pissed after last week, and I don't blame him. You guys played like crap, and if we're keeping it a buck right now, we ass. As Cam Ward said, I think the same can be said for the Cardinals right now. And obviously after these last few weeks, losing in a row, this is your last chance, really, to prove to me that you are a decent football team. If you lose this game and you get belt to ass and lose like 38-10 or 38-3 or some shit like that, I will never pick the Cardinals again at this point. You can play the Saints and like the Panthers. Oh, wait, you already did. Those are your 2 wins. So, anyway, to stop crapping on the Cardinals, I just don't think that the Cardinals are that good of a team. I think Indy puts it to them in this game, wins this one at home, 24-14. Moving into the next game, it's Carolina at Bank of America Stadium taking on the Dallas Cowboys. It is an interesting one. I'll mention it in 1 second. Give me a second to go through this first. I do think that the Dallas Cowboys have a pretty good chance at winning this football game. It's Carolina. It's on the road, sure, but it is the Panthers at the end of the day. Panthers have yet to win a game back-to-back in Bryce Young's career to this point. Do they finally do it in this game? And before we get your answer, the AI and Brian are also both picking Indianapolis. Again, I can't remember to do this. It's insane.
It's okay.
Either way, though, do you think Dallas wins this game or does Carolina win their first back-to-back with Bryce Young?
Absolutely not. Give me the Dallas Cowboys to win this football game.
There you go.
Cowboys are very banged up on the offensive line, but
if the Giants-Eagles wasn't my lock of the week.
Yeah, and then would have went to the Cardinals-Colts, but if that wasn't my lock of the week, then it would have been this one. I mean, I'll give Panthers their flowers. I did last time they won, too. Bryce Young in that first half played absolutely terrible. So god-awful. It was bad. Really, really bad. And the only way you come out and win a football game like that is if you're playing a team like the Miami Dolphins. So, Brian, I'm sorry again, but and the Cowboys taking care of business against the Jets. Should be another one of those games for Dallas where they take care of business, this time against the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte. So, give me the Cowboys to win this game, and I don't think it will be too close.
Yeah, me either. I have a 31-17 Panthers loss in this football game. Sorry. I do think that this one won't be close. I think they'll get a garbage time touchdown to make the score look a little bit better, as they really like to do. Either way, though, I do think Dallas dominates most of this game. I think Dak Prescott has another good football game, as well as, he's been throwing to, whoever he's been throwing to. George Pickens, Tolbert, and then a couple other guys. Ferguson, especially. He has been his number one target. As I do think that this is going to be a pretty easy one for the Dallas Cowboys. Even on the road in Carolina, I just don't see the Panthers putting up much of a fight, as I do think Dallas wins, and so does Brian and the AI. We all pick Dallas to win this game. Another game that we're all picking the same. Will it be true for the next one? It's Saints and Patriots. Saints just won their first game of the season after a 3-turnover game from Jackson Dart, a fumble and 2 interceptions. Do the Saints continue those winning ways against New England, or did the Patriots continue their run after taking down the Bills on Sunday night?
Yeah, that game Sunday night was pretty unfortunate, especially with the turnovers by the Bills. But this game is not about the Bills. This game is about the New England Patriots, and I feel like if it wasn't for last week, I'd be considering and who I would pick to win this game a lot more. But considering the Patriots, they just beat us last week, I will have to side with the New England Patriots. They kind of earned my respect a little bit. They took that next step from last week. But, of course, after taking that next step, you got to keep proving that you belong in, that area where, playoff contending team. Yeah. So we'll see how they are against the New Orleans Saints. But the Saints had to come back against the Giants, got their first win of the season. Spencer Rattler got his first win of his career, so congratulations to him. But now you got a tougher test. Probably a easier defense to play against, honestly, if anything. But Drake May looked really good last week. Stephon Diggs looked amazing last week as well. So Saints defense definitely got their hands full against Drake May and the Pats. But Patriots earned my respect last week, so give me New England.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but New England's going to win this football game. I think the Saints are an okay team, but I feel like last week's win was more of an outlier, especially if you look at Rattler's career. He's played 11 games. He's 1-10. That is an outlier, statistically saying that, at least. So I think that will continue with the trend that we've seen before that, which is him sucking ass and then losing games. So I do think that New England wins this football game. I think that this is one of those games for me that's similar to the Jake Browning situation after beating Jacksonville, which is still crazy to think that Jags' only loss is to a backup after Joe Burrow got hurt.
Right.
Either way, though, I do think nonetheless that this is a lot like that Jake Browning situation, because after Jake Browning came into that game and won that game, everybody thought that the Bengals were still going to be okay with Jake Browning. Clearly they're not, because they traded for Joe Flacco today. Yeah. So I do think personally that that's going to be a very similar situation. How many times have we seen it? A team goes out and the quarterback plays amazing football, and then the next week he just completely shits the bed. I think that's what's going to happen for Spencer Rattler and the Saints, albeit he didn't play that great last week. The defense did a lot of that work for him, though those 3 turnovers, especially after they went down 14-0. You're playing a lot better team in New England this week. Go ahead and give me the Patriots, especially on the road. They have yet to lose on the road, the Patriots. So interesting for them. Either way, moving into the next game, the Steelers and the Browns, speaking of the Patriots' losses, that's one of them, to the Steelers. The Steelers are coming off a bye week. The Browns coming off a game in London. Dillon Gabriel's first career start. Now it's going to be number 2 for Dillon Gabriel. Do you think that this is going to be the one that he wins, or do the Steelers keep their winning streak going after the bye week?
Sound the alarms, ladies and gentlemen. I got an upset brewing in Pittsburgh. Give me the Cleveland Browns.
Give me that Pittsburgh Steelers. I was waiting.
I feel like it's been a little bit since I had a decent upset of the week, but here it is with the Browns over the Steelers. Browns have one of the best defenses in the entire league, and even though the Steelers have been looking good, they've been looking a little bit better on offense, especially as the weeks have been going on, coming off the bye week. Maybe you'll have a little bit of rust, and I still don't trust the offense just yet. So, and with that being said, I think it's going to be one of those slugfest type games where it's going to be very low scoring. And I think that's really going to play in the hands of a team that has a rookie quarterback with him trying to get his first win. I felt like he looked all right last week. Obviously, nothing crazy, but nothing terrible either.
Right.
I feel like this could be a good spot for him to get his first win, especially considering the Steelers' defense hasn't been playing elite just yet. Feel like they can make that one extra play in the game that could really determine the outcome of this one. So give me the Browns to upset the Pittsburgh Steelers here in Week 6.
Yeah, before I get into my thoughts, the Patriots are a unanimous decision from all of us again. That is the third straight game, and if it wasn't for the AI being stupid and picking Baltimore, it would be 4 in a row. And then actually it would be 5 in a row because of the Chargers game before that.
Ooh.
Either way, though, we are all saying the Pittsburgh Steelers win is here you go. Ooh. This is a proverbial thermometer as we need to get your temperature to see what's the hell going on with you, bro, because you might be sick. Especially in the head
I've been sick.
for picking the Cleveland Browns. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this football game 21-16. I think the garbage time touchdown strikes again for the Cleveland Browns. Jeez, man, I can't talk today. For the Cleveland Browns, I think that this is going to be a pretty bad game. I do think that Dylan Gabriel is a good quarterback, but Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott are the two best coaches against rookie quarterbacks statistically all time. Mike Tomlin going up against a rookie quarterback in his second career start, and it's a division game. That Steelers defense is going to have a field day with Dylan Gabriel. I like Gabriel. I think he'll have an okay game. It won't be anything crazy bad, but I do think we see his first career turnover in this game, and it's going to cost him in a big way. Give me Pittsburgh to win this one, especially at home, too. I can't see a world where Cleveland wins this game. At home, maybe they could, but on the road, I just don't see it happening as, again, me and the AI and Brian all pick Pittsburgh. You're the only one picking Cleveland. We got it done, guys. We did it. Anyway, next game, probably the stinker of the week, Raiders-Titans. Interesting game here. The Raiders and the Titans are pretty interesting teams, to say the least. Geno Smith not playing his best football. And then on the other side, Cam Ward coming off his first career win, albeit not because of him. Because of a lot of very interesting things, to say the least, against the Cardinals team. Do you think the Titans win another one here, or do the Raiders bounce back after a ass-whooping that the Colts gave them last week?
You know, for the game last week with the Titans and Cardinals, I feel like the Cardinals really handed the Titans that win last week. I really do. And they've been flatlining all season long. And the Raiders have not been looking good either. You mentioned the Colts absolutely killed them last week. And Geno Smith hasn't been looking too good either. I feel like this is kind of getting to the point where it's like, if the Raiders don't do something soon, if Geno Smith doesn't do something soon, I feel like we may not be seeing him play too much longer. That's just how I'm feeling about it. But I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders here in this one. I feel like Geno Smith is going to play better in this game. I feel like he's been really annoyed all season long. Every time he throws an interception, every time there's been a bad drive, every time I see him on red zone, he's always whipping his helmet off, frustrated beyond belief. And Ashton Jeanty has been really heating up these past couple weeks too, which can really play into their hands for this one, especially in one of these games that are kind of like one of the shittier games of the week. So I feel like we see a lot in those games, see a lot of running the football, and the Raiders definitely the team that is better at running the football in this one. So give me the Raiders to get their second win of the season. Is Cam Ward's second win will have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I agree. I think that although the Titans won that game last week, I still think they are the worst team in the NFL by a mile right now. I'm sure that the Saints aren't that far away, or maybe even Cleveland, whatever you might add. Jets, obviously, too, who haven't won a game. I think even if the Jets played the Titans, they'd win. I just think it's a very interesting team right now in Tennessee. They haven't really been putting things together, and if it wasn't for two very, very, very rare mistakes, and I'm not saying rare mistakes because the Cardinals don't make mistakes. I'm saying very rare in the terms of the mistakes that they were. We rarely see those kinds of plays ever happen, and I think that they wouldn't have won that game. Obviously, they wouldn't have won that game if those things didn't happen for them. They were getting completely outplayed from the first drive of the game until the end almost. They were really getting outplayed, outgained, out everything. And I think that says a lot about this Titans team. On top of that, you're going up against the Raiders who have Ashton Jeanty. And remember, Amari DeMercado, that run that he dropped the ball, if he doesn't drop that ball, the game obviously is very different. But more importantly, he ran that ball. And he was running very well most of the game. And because of that, Ashton Jeanty is going to have a field day against this defensive line. If Amari DeMercado is getting some touches like that, getting some yards, I think Ashton Jeanty is going to get a hell of a lot more, especially against the same defense in Tennessee, who really hasn't been able to stop the run these last couple weeks. Obviously, that'll be their main focus as Geno Smith hasn't been playing well. But I will make a very not bold prediction, to me at least. If the Raiders find a way to lose this football game and it's because of Geno Smith, I think this is the last we see of Geno Smith in the silver and black, to say the least. I think they'd give it to somebody else next week if they don't win this game. However, I think they do, as well as AI and Brian both picking the Las Vegas Raiders is again a sweep. I hate this. It's just so bland. It's so boring. Maybe we can get an upset. 49ers and Bucks.
I already made my upset.
49ers Bucks is next. Do the Bucks win this game at home after a absolutely amazing shootout back and forth in the beautiful, beautiful jersey combo between those two teams? I think if they wore their normal jerseys, both of those teams, that game would have been like 23-20. I don't know how to explain it. I just think it would have happened. Interestingly enough, do you think the Niners, though, a little bit of extra preparation after Thursday night, do they win this football game, or did the Bucs get their job done with Mayfield?
You know, the 49ers, even with all their injuries, they've been finding ways to win football games. And it's honestly, at this point, it's getting pretty impressive here. 4-1 sitting atop the division right now. But you also look at the other side. Buccaneers are doing the same thing. They are finding ways to win, and it's more so when you're going down to the game-winning drives. Baker Mayfield has been really good this season. Early MVP candidate to start off the campaign, as it's really tough. It's one of those kind of 50-50 games for me personally, which makes me feel like it's kind of similar to the other game earlier between the Seahawks-Jaguars. I was kind of feeling 50-50 on it a little bit. And I sided with the home team, and I will continue to do that for this game as well. So give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game here over the 49ers. I can easily see the 49ers coming in here and winning. I feel like the Buccaneers are kind of one of those teams where I feel like might be similar to the Bills in a way where they're looking really good. All right, when's their loss coming, you know? Like it's going to happen at some point. Obviously, I don't think the Tampa Bay is going to go 16-1 or anything like that. They're going to lose another game at some point, which makes me wonder if it could be this game against the 49ers, but I'm going to lean towards a safe pick and go with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think this one's really, really close as well. I think this one can very well easily go either way. But go ahead and give me the Bucs to win this game as well. 24-21. I think this is going to be one of the closest games of the weekend. I'm hoping this is a good game because it's one of the only afternoon games, and the other two are the Raiders and Titans and Packers-Bengals, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But either way, I really do think this is our only chance at a good game, which I said last week was the Chargers and Commanders. Which
that was not a good game.
A good game. And the good game ended up actually being one that we weren't, well, you were at least, but the media wasn't hyping up that Bucs Seahawks game,
see?
At least. So maybe the Bucs do it again for us, please. Please, Baker, please.
For my fantasy team, please.
Oh, yeah, not for my fantasy team. But either way, though, I do think that the Bucs are going to win this football game. It'll be back and forth. It will be close. I just think that this is going to be one of those games they grind out a victory. And there's no team better in the NFL at grinding out victories than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at least in my opinion. And what I mean by grinding out games are being able to do everything. Run the ball, pass the ball, play good defense, play good offense. All those things mixed into one team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the safest team in the league when it comes to those kinds of things, at least this season. And I think that they do it again here in a close one against Kyle Shanahan and the Niners, as Brian has his upset of the week as the 49ers get it done. And so does the AI with his upset of the week.
Okay, now I'm feeling a lot better about it.
Yeah, the AI is going to go with their upset as well. So Brian here on the AI side with upset of the week as well. Interesting enough to say. But I do think that it's time to move into one of our final 4 games of the evening slates. This is it. Green Bay and Cincinnati. Cincinnati has not played well, but now they have Joe Flacco. Although I think personally if you were going to trade for a quarterback, it should have been earlier than this. I mean, if you were going to lose anyway, you should have at least got him accustomed to the system before throwing him to the Wolves against Micah Parsons. I think it's a pretty interesting thing to say. Although, funny enough, it would be hilarious to me if the Bengals win this game because Joe Flacco would have beaten the Packers twice this season, and they're not in the same division. So I do think that would be hilarious, but I don't think that's going to happen. What do you think?
Yeah, for this game, if Joe Flacco does end up playing this game, it's going to be a very limited game plan because he's not going to be too familiar with the offense. If anything, it's going to be similar to Baker Mayfield when he went to the Rams for a few weeks. And
they won that game, though, against the Raiders.
They did win that game, but the Raiders didn't have no Micah Parsons.
Yeah, no.
Or anything like that. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to win this football game.
Where that was
going. I will say, too, the Bengals in the second half, I feel like they did find something a little bit. The offense was actually starting to put up points in that second half, which is something we haven't seen in weeks, especially since Joe Burrow got his injury. So could be looking at the Bengals offense a little bit. Maybe they could do a little bit something here against the Packers defense. But Packers have been struggling the past few weeks, but they did just have their bye week last week, so maybe they kind of tweaked some things over the bye week, maybe sorted some things out, which I'm guessing will be the case. So I'm going to go with the Packers to win this one. I will say I do feel a little bit uncomfortable with the spread for this one because I know it was a really big spread for this game, I'm pretty sure. I'd be pretty uncomfortable with that if I was a betting man, but give me the Packers to win this one and get back on track.
I think that spread looks pretty good compared to my score, 34-13. The Browns put it to them in this game. Not the Browns, the Packers put it to them. Yeah. I knew what I was saying. The Packers put it to them in this game. I just think that Joe Flacco, even if he doesn't start in this game, if it's Jake Browning, I think that they're going to lose either way by a lot. I think the Packers are one of the better teams in the NFL, and they already had their trap game of the season against Joe Flacco last time, so they're not going to let it happen twice. I think Green Bay does this, especially at home in this game, too. I think Green Bay is going to come out and they're going to play well, especially after a bye week, too. You literally have everything lined up for this Packers team to win. Let's go and see a loss now. Either way, we'll figure it out. But we move into Sunday Night Football as the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, they're taking on Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, Lions and the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Pretty good game. We saw the last time this happened was the season opener a couple years ago when Kadarius Toney absolutely fumbled the bag. And
fumbled his career.
Literally. As the Lions do it again, or do the Chiefs get this one and get revenge for that game?
Oh, this is a tough one for me.
This really
very, very tough game. Lions took care of business against the Bengals last week. I feel like their defense kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half. But for Kansas City, I really don't know what to think of them at this point because I was saying, here come the Kansas City Chiefs. Here they are. They look good for most of the game, but they had a few costly mistakes, and it's mistakes they don't typically make, which really makes me just sit and wonder again, are we going to see this actual great Chiefs team, or are we going to see what we've kind of been getting a mix of throughout the season so far? And the one very impressive game that the Chiefs had that they won was against a depleted Ravens team that really had nothing going for them. Lamar Jackson got injured. Everything is going wrong for Baltimore, and the Chiefs took advantage of it, and that's exactly what Houston did last week to Baltimore too, which is going to lean me to picking the Detroit Lions to win this football game. It's one of those things, at this point of the season, I don't trust Kansas City right now, and they can easily prove me wrong at any point. They can play well. It's just a matter of right now if they're going to stay consistent for a whole 60 minutes. We will see if it happens. But the Lions have looked really good ever since week one. A lot of people I've been seeing are putting them number one in their power rankings right now. It's been the popular pick right now. So Lions arguably the best team in the league right now as the Chiefs still trying to find their footing. I'm going to go with the, safer, maybe riskier pick. I have no idea. Give me the Detroit Lions.
Wow, this game is so crazy to me because the Chiefs, if they lose this game, are 2-4. For the first time in the Mahomes era, they would be 2 games below 500. I just don't know if I could see a future with that. I don't know if I could see it. But at the same time, with how they've been playing, their only really wins are against, again, that Ravens team that gets absolutely no love right now because they were depleted.
And a rough game against the Giants.
And a really rough game against the New York Giants. And so that's where it just comes into effect for me. Is Kansas City going to be able to win this football game? Are they going to be able to come out here and play? And after last week, if we're talking about them beating the Jags, I think that totally happens, and the Lions could win this game. But with what I'm seeing, I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. I freaking hate it so much that I want to pick the Chiefs in this game, but I'm not gonna ever see a world where the Chiefs are 2-4. I don't think it can happen. I really don't. I think the Chiefs aren't the better football team necessarily, but they've had that kind of mantra where they can just go out and win any game. And so this is going to be a very interesting game on Sunday Night Football. I think this is going to probably be the best game of the week, but go ahead and give me the Chiefs to beat the Lions in a pretty gritty game back and forth. And if you remember, at the end of that last game, the Lions lost Terrion Arnold. He might not go in this game. Shoulder injury, he might be out for a few weeks. And on the other side there, Kansas City, they're getting some guys healthier. Xavier Worthy's going to have another week to get back. Obviously, Rashee Rice is still gone with the suspension, but this is his last week serving a suspension. So who knows what happens with this. I do think the Chiefs are going to win this game. A very close game, 27-24. Give me Kansas City as we move into the Monday night slate, I have to say, instead of just the game, because there's two again on Monday Night Football. Get fucking rid of this. I hate this. Anyway, Falcons at home to take on the Buffalo Bills in our first game of this slate. As also, before I get into this, Kansas City is also going to be Brian's pick, and Detroit is the AI's pick. As Owen, back to your friendly AI partner.
Oh, very nice. Did everyone pick the Packers too, by the way?
Everybody did pick the Packers.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, I probably didn't say that either. Look at me go. Anyway.
Such a great streak.
Yeah, such a great streak. Anyway, Bills or Falcons, is this even a question at this point?
Well, I feel like it could be a little bit more of a question after last week, but
that's true.
Falcons are a very inconsistent football team. Very, very inconsistent. Bills have been playing down to their opponents the past 3-4 weeks now, which I feel like almost everyone can agree on right now. And the Falcons have Bijan Robinson, which absolutely scares the nuts off of me for this game.
You also face him in fantasy.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously, I'm going to pick my Buffalo Bills. I believe in the boys to get the job done here in this one. Scared me a little bit last week, but the Bills should not lose 2 games in a row. It should not happen. And with how teams like Baltimore been banged up a lot, Kansas City is 2-3 right now. I know there's a couple other really good teams, Jaguars, Colts, just to name a few right now in the AFC. But Bills got to take advantage of what is going on here in the AFC right now. And sure, me and you both saw it coming. Like, the Bills were going to lose one of these games that they should have won on their schedule. It was going to happen. Got it out of the way in Week 5. Now they actually need to show up. They got to play well. Ed Oliver, let's see if he actually ends up coming back. We will see. But Bills
He did post like 5 minutes ago. Not 5 minutes ago, but like 5 minutes before this pod started, with like him swinging a towel saying, "Get me back out there," or something like that. And so I think he's going to play. Right. Either way, though, continue.
Well, hopefully then, because that might help a little bit against Bijan Robinson. But Bills, no excuses this week. Got to get the job done, and I think they will.
Yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to get this one done in spades. I don't think that they're going to lose this game. In fact, this is my lock of the week.
Oh.
All the way down here at the end, and everybody's going to flack me for this. They're going to say that there's a chance we lose. I think there's absolutely a 1% chance we lose this football game, and here's why. We lost last week to the Patriots after having a struggling game against the Saints. Coach McDermott, on a long week, by one day albeit, but still a long week, we're going to put in the work this week. We're not going to lose. Allen will not make us lose 2 games in a row. I think Josh is going to have our back. We're going to play well in this football game. Josh has yet to lose a Monday Night Football game. Actually, he's lost 1 Monday Night Football game. It was to the Titans a couple of years ago, and it was technically Tuesday Night Football or Wednesday Night Football or whatever it was.
Oh,
the game that we shouldn't have played Monday night. Anyway, yeah. Either way, though, I think that the Buffalo Bills are one of those teams that aren't going to lose 2 in a row. And like you mentioned, funny enough, with the Eagles at the beginning, which was your lock of the week, after losing, you don't see them losing twice. I'm the same way about this Bills team, and I really thought you were going to do this too. Thought you were going to be in the same wavelength. We almost were. We were really close.
We're close.
But I do think that this Buffalo Bills team is just that much better. They're going to win this game on Monday Night Football, 31-21. It'll be a decently close game, but I will have absolutely zero worry that the Bills lose this football game. Go ahead and give me my lock of the week. Buffalo wins on Monday night. as we round out the week with a Washington and Chicago special. Last time we saw this was a Jayden Daniels Hail Mary to win the game for the Commanders. Do we see that Stevenson's going to pump up the crowd in this game? Who do you think wins this one? Commanders coming off a big win against the Chargers, or do the Bears win this one coming in off the bye week?
Well, I don't think this time it's going to come down to a Hail Mary. I think the Commanders are going to win this one a little bit more handily this time around. Bears, I kind of just mentioned it with the Falcons a little bit. The Bears are another one of those very inconsistent teams to me. And their one great game was against the Cowboys defense that really isn't that great right now.
They haven't played well. Their only good game, I guess, was against the Jets.
And I think they're
kind of the week one game against the Eagles, but the Eagles' offense really hasn't been that great.
Yeah, and the Bears' last game, I believe, was against the Raiders, if I remember correctly.
It was.
And that was not a great game. Yeah, it was definitely not a great game. And I was very impressed with Washington last week. Jayden Daniels looked pretty good in his return. He did have that last touchdown at the very end of the game that kind of made it look bigger than what it was. But Chargers have not been too great the past couple weeks, so how much credit do you really want to give them right now? I'm not too sure, but going up against the Bears team, it's pretty inconsistent. I'll go with the safe pick here and go with Jayden Daniels and the Commanders to advance to 4-2.
Yeah, I think this one's another one of those games for me that's just question marks all over the place. Are the Bears going to come back and bounce back after the bye week? Was that one good game by Jayden Daniels? Is Jayden Daniels going to be able to be consistent coming back off that injury? Are the Chargers just charging and that's why the Commanders won? Are the Bears actually okay at football? Are they still really bad because their only wins are against a blocked field goal at the end of that game and then a game against the Dallas Cowboys, again, like we mentioned, where the Cowboys really haven't been consistent either? That's a lot of questions for this kind of game. It's Monday Night Football, so I guess we'll see what happens. I do think that the Commanders are going to win this game, though, 24-17. I think that this is going to be a pretty interesting game. It'll be decently close. I think the Commanders will kind of pull away, and we'll know who wins by the third quarter, maybe the early fourth. But I do think that Washington finds a way to pull out another victory, especially at home in this kind of a game. I think that the home team wins most of these ones. So go ahead and give me Washington as now, because this is a Monday night special. That's why I did it this time. Believe it or not, you won't. But either way, Buffalo and Washington are both sweeps by us and the AI and Brian.
Gotcha.
All of us sweep that one. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games this week out of the 15. So a solid 60% of the games we sweep. All of us pick the exact same team with none of us, not a single one of us, picking somebody different. And that's really only the Baltimore game. That one could have been switched too. So who knows? Either way, though, that is it for Week 6 NFL predictions. Who will have the trophy next week, as I completely forgot it, as I forgot everything else today as well, including my brain. It's actually at the house. Anyway, though, nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the OT Podcast. I'm sure pretty much around this time we'll see that end card with Owen's score predictions.
Oh, yes.
As per usual. So make sure you guys click on that video and take a look at his scores for these games after knowing who he has winning. Thank you guys again for watching. My name's Thomas Bailey alongside Owen Reed. And Owen, kick us off.
Well, if you guys enjoyed the video, I don't know where my voice went, but you can leave a thumbs up. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you enjoy what we do here over on the channel, subscribe would be oh so amazing. We're at 716 right now, so it's honestly a pretty good spot. But hope you guys enjoy the rest of your days. If you guys have your predictions, leave them in the comments below as well. And with that, I don't have much else to say except Lifeforms out.